When we come to the sessions 30, we almost end of the complex variable, the fundamental theorem of algebra. So the statement, the fundamental theorem of algebra, if the polynomial equation of degree n greater than or equal to 1 with real or complex coefficients as at least one root. So every polynomial of a degree n greater than or equal to 1 has one root, as a one root. See, the proof is simple. Let f of z equal to, we can write in power series form. Let f of z equal to a naught plus a1z plus a2z square plus a3z cube plus etc. a n z raised to n equal to 0. Where the coefficients of highest degree power is not equal to 0, means a n not equal to 0. Be a polynomial equation of a degree n. Suppose f of z equal to 0 has no roots. Suppose if we take a function f of z equal to 0 as a no root, then we assume f of z not equal to 0. So f of z not equal to 0 for any z. Then this implies if we denote this function the reciprocal of that. So pi of z equal to 1 by f of z is analytic for all z. Also, pi of z equal to 1 by f of z tends to 0 as z tends to infinity. That is, this implies pi of z is bounded for all z. By Lewis theorem, pi of z must be a constant. Therefore, pi f of z is constant function, which is a contradiction to our assumption that f of z is a polynomial of degree n greater than or equal to 1. Means, if you take a degree greater than or equal to 1, so if you take so f of z is 0 as a no root, so take that function should be reciprocal of that. I denote that function should be another function form. Certainly pi of z equal to 1 by f of z. So if this tends to 0 as z tends to infinity, certainly pi of z is bounded for all z. So by Lewis theorems, f of z must phi of z must be a constant. Then therefore f of z cannot be maybe f of z may be constant function, which is a contradiction because f of z is tends to 0. Thus f of z is a constant function, which is a contradiction to our assumption that f of z is a polynomial of degree n greater than or equal to 1. Thus, f of z is 0 for at least one value of z, hence f of z has at least one root. So we come to in the same way for in the fundamental theorem of algebra in another form, say, let f is a mapping from D to R. So let f is a mapping from D to R be a continuous function on the closed disk D contain R2. Then f is bounded, attains its minimum and maximum value on D. In other words, there exists a point xm means x a small letter and m big capital letter. So say xm belongs to D such that f of x lies between f of xm and f of xm. That is, f of xm less than or equal to f of x less than or equal to f of xm. For every possible choice of the point, x belongs to D. So another way, the fundamental theorem of algebra. So we define a polynomial of functions. F is a mapping from C to C by setting f of z. We can write a n z power n plus a n minus 1 z power n minus 1 plus a n minus 2 z power n minus 2 etc. a1 z plus a naught as the equation 1 we can write. Then they note that we can regard xy tends to complex variable function, means xy tends to absolute values of f of xi plus y as a function r to r. So by a mild abuse of the notations, we denote this function by f of dot or absolute values of f, as it is a composition of a continuous function, a polynomial and square root. We see that absolute values of x is continuous. So if we can, so we see that absolute values of f of x is continuous. By the same way, you can express in the fundamental theorem of algebra. We come to the lemma. So let a mapping f is a mapping from C to C be any polynomial functions. Then there exists a point z0 belongs to C, where the function absolute values of f attains its minimum value in R. So absolute values of f attain its minimum value in R. So where R is a region. So that is, say, if we come to the proof, if f is a constant polynomial function, then the statement of the lemma is trivially true, since absolute values of f attain its minimum value at every point in C. So choose, for example, z not equal to 0. If f is not a constant, then the degree of the polynomial defining f at least 1. So if we not a constant, if we take a degree of the polynomial f at least 1, say, in this case, we can choose or we denote f explicitly as an equation on 1, that is in the form of f of z equal to a n z power n plus a n minus 1 z power n minus 1 plus a n minus 2 z power n minus 2, etc. a1 z plus a naught, where highest power of degree, coefficient of highest power of degree. What is highest power of degree? Z power n. So that coefficient should not be 0. That's a n not equal to 0. Now assume z not equal to 0 and set A is a maximum of the coefficient. Set A is a maximum of coefficients a naught, a1, etc. an1. We can obtain a lower bound for absolute values of f of z as follows. So absolute values of f of z equal to absolute values of an, absolute values of z power n of 1 plus an minus 1 divided by an 1 by z plus an minus 2 divided by an minus 1 n etc. a naught by an 1 by z power n absolute values. That is, suddenly this number is greater than or equal to absolute values of an z power n of 1 minus a divided by absolute values of an summation k run from 1 to infinity 1 by absolute values of z power k. That is, this equal to absolute values of an z power n of 1 minus a divided by an 1 by absolute values of z minus 1. So for all z belongs to C, such that absolute values of z greater than or equal to 2. So we can further simplify these expressions and obtain absolute values of z greater than or equal to absolute values of an, so z power n of 1 minus 2 times of a divided by absolute values of an, absolute values of z. So this is the terms. So whatever may be, this number is greater than or equal to absolute values of z greater than or equal to, suddenly this function is absolute values of f of z greater than or this product. So it follows for this inequality that there is an R. So if you denote the capital letter R, there is a denote an R greater than 0, such that mod f of z greater than mod f of R. So for all z belongs to C, satisfy mod z greater than R. Let D contain R2 be the disk of radius R. Center at 0. So D contains R, be a disk of radius R, center at 0, and define a function G is mapping from D to R. G is a mapping from D to R by G of xy equal to absolute values of f of x I plus y. So f of x plus I y absolute. So g of x, we define a function g of xy is equal to absolute values of f of x plus iy. So then g is continuous, and so we can apply the theorem to second theorem in order to obtain the point x naught y naught belongs to D. So such that g attains its minimum at x naught y naught. By the choice of R, we have that for z belongs to C divide D, that mod absolute values of f of z greater than absolute values of g of 0 comma 0, that number is greater than or equal to absolute values of g of x naught y naught. Therefore, absolute values of f attains its minimum of z equal to x naught plus I y naught. So we now come to the fundamental theorem of algebra. We come to we replace in order pair xy in terms of complex number. So replace xy order pair xy in terms of a complex number. So again, this we want to prove the same way in the theorem we are using one for our argument. We rely on the fact that the function absolute values of f attains its minimum value by lemma 3. Let choose a point z0 belongs to C, be a point where the minimum is attained, We will show that if f of z0 equal to not a 0, if f of z0 not equal to 0, then z0 is not a minimum. Thus, proving by contrapositions that the minimum value of absolute values of f of z is 0. Therefore, f of z not equal to 0. So, if you choose contrapositive, minimum values of f of z is 0. If you replace at z naught of a point, so f of z naught equal to 0. So, if f of z naught is 0, then we can define a new function. G is a mapping from C to C by setting the function g of z equal to f of z plus z naught divided by f of z naught for all z belongs to C. So we define a function of the form f of z plus z naught divided by f of z naught for all z belongs to C. In not that g is a polynomial of degree n and that is a minimum of absolute values of f is attained at z naught if and only if the minimum of absolute values of g is attained at z equal to 0. Moreover, it is clear that g of 0 equal to 1. So more explicitly, g is given by a polynomial of the form. So again we define as g of z equal to in a power series form bn z power n plus bn minus 1 z power n minus 1 plus etc. bk z power k plus 1 with n greater than or equal to 1. And the highest power here, the middle of that, here bk not equal to 0 for some 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to n. Right? Let bk is equal to bk of e power I theta. So bk we define bk is equal to absolute values of bk e power I theta and consider z of the form z equal to r absolute values of bk whole power minus 1 by k e power I pi minus theta divided by k. I call this equation as 2. Now with r positive for z of this form we have g of z equal to, we can write g of z equal to 1 minus r power k plus r power k plus 1 of h of r power k plus 1 of h of r. So where h is a polynomial, then for r less than 1 we have by the triangular inequality that so absolute values of g of z less than or equal to 1 minus r power k plus r power k plus 1 of h of r. So h of r is absolute values. For r positive sufficiently small, we have r of absolute values of h of r less than 1. By the continuity of the function r h of r and the fact that it vanishes in r equal to 0, it vanishes r equal to 0. Hence, the absolute values of g of z less than or equal to 1 minus r power k of 1 minus r of h of r less than 1, strictly less than 1. So this means the fact is that the product of g of k made very small, very small. So for some z having the form in the equation 3, in equation 2, with r belongs to 0 or not. So r belongs to the coordinate point 0 comma r naught, and r naught is positive, means r naught greater than 0, sufficiently small, but then the minimum of the function absolute values of g tends to c to r. Cannot a possible be equal to 1. This means we get a contrapositive form. Cannot be equal to 1, well, we conclude this note that these several more fundamental facts about the polynomials, including an equivalence form of the fundamental theorem of algebra. Well, this type should be similar to you. They not nonetheless require careful formulations and proof. So similarly, we can prove the theorem. Similarly, we can prove the theorem of the form. So given a positive integer, n greater than or equal to 1, and any choice of the coefficients a0, a1, etc. an belongs to C, where an not equal to 0, define a function f is a mapping from C to C by setting f of z equal to an z power n plus a n minus 1 z power n minus 1 plus a n minus 2 z power n minus 2, etc. a1 z plus a0 for all z belongs to C. In other words, f is a polynomial function of a degree n. Then we write first one, given any complex number w and c, we have that f of w equal to 0. If and only if there exists a polynomial function g to c by a degree n minus 1, such that f of z equal to z minus w of g of z for all z belongs to C. Secondly, there are at most n distinct complex number w for which f of w equal to 0. In other words, f has at most n distinct root. So in the fundamental theorem of algebra, restated in the same way, I replace z by z minus w1, z minus w2, so etc. Means just like a mapping from z to other plane, z to map w, z to w means I take a difference of that. So the fundamental theorem of algebra restated, there exists exactly n plus 1 complex numbers w0, w1, etc. wn belongs to C, not necessarily distinct, such that so f of z equal to w0 of z minus w1, z minus w2, etc. z minus wn for all z belongs to C. In other words, every polynomial of a functions with coefficients over C can be factored into a linear factor over C. Linear factor of C. See, in the same way we can prove that in all the three statement of, so let w belongs to C be a complex number. This implies, we say if and only if conditions. Suppose that if we take f of w equal to 0, then in particularly we have that a n w power n plus a n minus 1 w power n minus 1 plus a n minus 2 w power n minus 2, etc. a1 w plus a naught equal to 0. So since this equation is equal to 0, it follows that given any point z belongs to C. So f of z equal to a n z power n plus a n minus 1 z power n minus 1 plus a n minus 2 z power n minus 2 plus etc. a1 z plus a naught minus subtracting minus a n w power n plus a n minus 1 w power n minus 1 plus etc. a1 w plus a naught equal of. So if we take a coefficients of an of z power n minus w power n plus a n minus 1 z power n minus 1 minus w power n minus 1 plus etc. a1 of z minus w. So if we take these terms, if we apply the summation form, an of z minus w of summation k run from 0 to n minus 1 of z power k w power n minus 1 k minus k. So an of z minus w summation k run from 0 to n minus 1 z power k w power n minus 1 minus k plus an minus 1 z minus w summation k run from 0 to n minus 2 z power k w power n minus 2 minus k plus etc. a1 of z minus w. That is, this equal to z minus w of summation m run from 1 to n of am of summation k run from 0 to n minus m minus 1 of z power k w power m minus k. That is, we say, that is, by upon setting, we write this function g of z equal to summation m run from 1 to n, m run from 1 to n of am summation k run from 0 to m minus 1 of z power k w power m minus k for how z belongs to C. We have a constructed degree n minus 1 polynomial function. We construct a degree n minus 1 polynomial of function g such that f of z equal to z minus w g of z for all z belongs to C. So we can write again the complex amount difference f of z equal to z minus w of g of z. That is, this way you are proving in if cases. Now we come to the only if cases. So if we come to the only if, suppose that there exists a polynomial function g mapping from C to C of degree n minus 1 such that f of z equal to the same way f of z equal to z minus w of g of z for all z belongs to C. It follows that f of w equal to w minus w g of w equal to 0 as this way. So what w minus w is 0, so the product is 0. So this is the way you are proving the fundamental theorem of algebra in various form.